be learning how to make the embellished mini fan. These are the items you need. Of course, you need a mini fan, the one that comes with a battery. It's rechargeable and replaceable. You can recharge this battery or replace it. And then it has a USB port here. Some have the USB ports on the side. You can use any fan of your choice depending on what you're doing. Okay, and the next thing you need is your spray paint. We have the scissors here. You need your stones and your trimmings. These are the chain trimmings. So if you are doing a gold one, you will need a gold chain trimming. If you are doing a silver, you will need a silver chain trimming. Okay, so let's begin. The first thing you do when making this fan, that is if you want to achieve a certain color for the mini fan. For instance, if you want to achieve a silver color, you will need a silver spray paint. Okay, so this is the spray paint that I use. This is the silver spray paint that I use. I use either the gold or the silver of this, depending on what I want to make. So you get your spray paint, you go to an open space, and then you spray it. Okay, you spray it. You take the spray very close to the fan so that it can penetrate and get into the inner blades. So you spray it like this. You do this all round. Okay, so you see, when you are done with this part and this part dries up, you turn this side and you spray this side as well. If you don't wait for this side to dry up before you spray this side, when it's time for you to dry it, if you put it down this way, it's going to leave some scratches or marks on the fan. So you have to wait for one side of it to dry first, then you can spray the other side of it. Okay, so once you put this down and it dries up, then you move on to the embellishment part. And with the embellishments, you need this chain trimming. This is what I use most of the time. When I started making this fan, this was the only thing that could come into my mind for me to use. This is it. So when I purchase it like this, I cut out the single chains. This is what I use to do the head of the fan. That is this part of the fan. So I cut out this, as many as I need to do my fan. I cut it out and I make sure that all the threads are cut out. There is no thread showing in between after I cut it out. This is the thread I'm talking about. You see, I don't leave this thread on. I make sure I cut everything off so that I can have a neat work. You see, okay. So you wait for this to dry up and then we come back for it to be embellished. Okay, so we are back. Once your fan is well dried, okay, then you can go ahead and start with the embellishment. With embellishment, like I mentioned earlier, you're going to use this chain to embellish. So you go with your glue gun. Of course, you will need a glue gun and a glue stick to do this work. You are going to apply your glue on it gently, not too much for it to be, messy. You just put just a little and enough for it to hold. Okay, and as you can see, I'm not starting from here. I'm not starting from the tip of the fan. I'm starting from the middle, a little bit from the middle, like this. You see, I have brought about 2 or 3 steps in the middle. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. I'm not starting from here. I'm starting from here. The reason why I'm not starting from the tip is that the chain easily goes off when you start from the tip, so it is very advisable to take it to the middle part a bit. Then you are sure that everything is going to be well secured. So I bring it here to the side and then to the front. Okay, so we are going to do this throughout the whole video. Do we have time? Okay, so when you bring it to the middle like this, you just cut it off. Then you continue the same step. You do the same throughout. Okay, so to make your life easier, sometimes I skip a step. Like, for instance, when you do this one, you have to do this next, but it makes it very difficult. So I skip this one and do this. Okay, and when I do that, it makes things easier and it makes the work goes faster. So when you skip this and you do the next one, you will come back to do the ones that you have left out. So when you do this, you skip this one and you do this. So you do the whole thing. After you have done the whole thing, you come back again and you start doing the ones you have left in between. It makes you go faster. You can either choose to do it step by step, but I think that one delays me a lot. So that's just about it. So you just cut off the ones that you don't need, put a little glue, and then you let it hold. So you're going to repeat this step throughout the process, okay, until you achieve something like this. Okay, you will repeat the whole thing until you achieve something like this. You can see this is a gold one, and then we used gold spray paint so that it will match it very well. If you're using a silver one, you use a silver spray paint and then a silver chain. Okay, so let me show you how to do the handle for this one. In making the handle of the fan, you have to measure. Okay, you measure out your trimming, and when I talk about measurements, I'm talking about you trying to get an idea of how much trimmings you will need to complete the handle. So I have wrapped it around, and I've seen that up to this point it should be enough for me to wrap my handle. So I'll cut off the excess. So you put it on like this, and then you make sure you have some that will overlap. Okay, you have enough that will overlap. Okay, and the reason why I haven't brought the trimmings up to the down here is because of the stand of the fan. Okay, you will need the stand to be inserted easily. So when you put the trimmings down here, you are going to have issues trying to put the. So in wrapping the trimmings around the handle, you will need to leave some space here. You will leave space here in order for you to be able to fix the stand at the base like this. If you bring the trimming down here, what I have realized is that it gives the handle more, you know, I don't know how to put it, like it makes it bigger, so the stand won't be able to be easily fixed on it. So that's just about it. So the next thing we are going to do is to apply our glue. So this is how you do it. You start from the tip, okay, and then you do it in line. The reason why you do it in line is because you don't want the glue showing in between the trimming, and then you turn the back of the fan and start working from here. Okay, so once you have secured it, you can then come and do the rest of the trimming. I'm just putting glue on the larger designs. I'm leaving out the small ones because it's very easy for the glue to pass through the small ones. So you bring it here, and then you seal it nicely. If you have anything else that is not properly glued, you just cut it off. Okay, so you cut off that tiny part, and you can see we don't have any glue showing. Okay, everything is nice and clean. So once you have done this and the handle, you will achieve something like this. This is how the final thing is going to look like. Okay, so in completing the head of the fan, you will need